What is going on, Cuse Nation? Welcome back to yet another edition of Bleed Orange. My name is Landon Cook, as always, and thank you for watching. Today, we are joined by the quarterback out of Tampa, Florida, the man, the myth, the legend, number 17, Rex Culpepper. How you doing, Rex?
I'm doing well, man. That was a heck of an intro. I'm very impressed. You sound professional.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Do it for all the players. I get hyped right before the video.
Very impressive.
So, as you guys all should know, this is basically the Trivia with the Orange segment. We go over a bunch of questions, what it's like to be at Syracuse as a college athlete and vice versa. Now, Rex, I'm ready when you are. You good?
Yes, let's go ahead and get after it.
All right, awesome. So first, I'd like to ask you, as a quarterback for an ACC school like Syracuse, what was your game day prep routine before the game? And then after the game, what did you do to take care of your body?
Well, before the game, I tried to not get too into like what the preparation was all week. I kind of wanted to take a mental break for it. So I usually would just be listening to music, spending time with yourself, just kind of going through the game in your mind. I personally like to just be alone a little bit, throw in the AirPods, go throw the football around outside in the dome, and just kind of get locked in that way. As far as after the game goes, ice baths, usually kind of feel bruised up after a game. So you go straight to the training room and have those guys in there take care of you.
Yeah, definitely. I was just wondering because it usually differs. Do you think it differs in probably between the different positions on the field, like a running back after the game, what they do for treatment, a quarterback after the game for treatment, a wide receiver after the game for treatment, or is it all the same?
No, it's different for everybody, and every player has their own things. Obviously, like the D linemen, those guys are fighting their butts off, so they're pretty beat up. The O lineman's pretty beat up. They might have to take it more easy than, me, the quarterback. So, their game day or their game experience is full on combat the entire time. I probably take less hits overall than those guys, but the hits I do take might be heavier hits. So, I would say everyone kind of has their own personal routine that they get into, and differs from player to player.
Yeah. So you have fought through a lot, Rex. You've been through cancer. You've dealt with so much adversity. Was playing with a team like Syracuse and just being on a team with all the support helpful? And how much was a team impact on you good at the right time?
Well, it was almost life-saving to have a team because when you're going through something like cancer, chemotherapy, you become very isolated from all your friends, from your family. And then, people might not be wanting to hang out with you maybe, or might not know what's going on. And so you feel a little bit alienated. But when you're a part of a team, there's guys constantly checking in on you. There's a place where you can go, like the locker room, where you're going to see all your buddies, where you don't have to like make up some like date to hang out with your friends. It's just like you kind of go to the facility, you see everybody. Everybody's asking how you are. Everyone cares about you. So yeah, it was almost life-saving to have those guys around me. A lot of those guys are still my best friends now. So
Yeah,
it was definitely worth it.
definitely. Family, as Dino says, right?
That's right.
Yep. And if you had a favorite spot on campus to hang out or even to go eat, what was your favorite spot on campus to just go hang out when you needed a break?
All right. Well, I have two answers because you said to eat. So I always got to give a special shout out to my people over at Mother's Cupboard because that was by far my favorite place to go eat. I probably went there every single morning.
All right.
I miss it. I've been in Florida for about a year. And I'm not going to lie, I wake up and I'm like, dang, I wish I could go to Mother's. As far as my favorite hangout spot though, so I lived in Aspen Heights apartment buildings, and they had this food truck behind my building. And the food truck was supposed to be locked, but I think that they forgot to lock it. And you could pull open the door and it was like one of those big sun awnings that like flips up and kind of like keeps the sun off things. There was a couch on the inside. There was a TV on the
Yeah.
inside. So I got a table, I got a fire pit, I got 2 grills, and I kind of like situated everything into like a hangout area. And I would have my teammates over like probably 4 nights a week over the summer. And we would all just grill out and have a campfire and like just sit on the couch in the food truck. And, you know, hopefully no one from Aspen's watching, but that was kind of like our secret little hangout spot. But then eventually they moved the food truck and my grills ended up getting plowed over during a snowstorm. So that kind of came to an end. But when it was in full swing, that was definitely the spot.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you just have your teammates come over and you just do a campfire right outside the food truck?
That's right. I would have everyone bring over steaks and chicken, and we would all grill out, and just kind of team bond, talk about stuff. We play frisbee golf, just stuff that the guys like to do. So that was the spot.
Awesome, awesome. And if you were to say you would the best team bonding experience and the best thing that you guys always just a ritual you did as a team, what would it be? It could be video games. It could be something as much as going onto the field to scrimmage or just have a fun 2-hand touch game. What would you say your favorite team bonding experience was?
Well, I feel like there's 2 things. So one thing that I think was a little bit monumental was we ended up getting a pool table in the middle of our facility. And literally immediately that pool table became the go-to thing because we'll be at the facility all day and there's not much to do between meetings. Like you'll have 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there, but that pool table always has people at it. You're kind of only around the facility, you're only as good as your pool game. Everyone's playing. Everyone's betting, you know, $1 here, $1 there, bragging rights. So playing pool, especially with teammates, honestly, so we had pool, we had ping pong, and then we have like Golden Tee, which is a little golf game that you'll see in bars. And between the 3 of those, there was a lot of team bonding, a lot of team arguing too in fights, but all in all, we like us quarterbacks, we would always go at it on the ping pong table. And that's some of like the fond memories that I have around the facilities. But outside of facilities, a lot of us guys, I think that I started a tradition with grilling out, and now I see like over the summer, everyone's got their grills behind University Village where they all live now. And so I think that's kind of become a team bonding activity as well. Just the sort of culture of turning the parking lot of whatever apartment building you have into a hangout. So I saw they had a basketball hoop and grills. So it kind of built off my fire pit idea, but that's another way that we bond as a team.
Awesome, awesome. Were you a Big Madden guy? Because I know a bunch of the other players I interviewed were like all over this Madden thing.
You know, I'm really not as big of a Madden guy. I made, you know, most of the name for myself on the ping pong table and on the Golden Tee, whereas the Madden, you got to be good to start playing in the locker room because everyone there is really good. And I've never played that much Madden growing up. So I felt a little bit intimidated, honestly, and I didn't want to just start playing something that I was going to get smoked at. So I just kept to what I was good at.
So were you there to watch all your teammates play, or who would you say is the best?
Oh, it was extremely entertaining to watch the teammates play. And these guys are a little bit older. This was more I think 2017 team. But I don't know if you remember Steve Ishmael and Irvin Phillips.
Yeah.
So those guys had the biggest rivalry on Madden. The entire team would be sitting there watching, and I don't think either one of them was the best player. I'm sure Cody Conway thinks that he's the best player ever. He played tackle. I think he's still in the league. Plenty of heated games with him, but the Irvin Phillips, Steve Ishmael competitions were extremely entertaining. Not only would they be like having close games on the game, but their reactions and the way they would yell at the TV and cause a scene, and everybody else would be in the back hyping them up. And like as soon as one would pick the play, guys would be saying stuff. It was almost like everyone circled around a dice game and everyone was getting into it, but they were playing Madden. And it was pretty funny. You would know that it was going on because you could hear the screaming from like inside the locker room or in the cafeteria. You know, oh, it's got to be Steve and Irv back on the game. So that was by far the most entertaining duo.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you were really good at the long ball in 2020. If you were to say you had an all-time favorite play that ever unveiled and an all-time worst play that you could just have back, which plays would those be?
Well, I'd say the favorite play has to be that first touchdown versus Pitt. Um, First time being back in a real game, throwing a bomb to Taj
Yeah.
and Taj doing Taj things and scoring. That had to have been the high.
Wasn't that
Um,
on the first play?
no, it wasn't quite on the first play, but it was like I think I came in and it was like third down and 20. We were backed up, I know for sure. So definitely got pretty lucky there. Seems
Yeah.
like the universe was smiling down on me for that moment, but that had to have been the all-time high. As for the
Yeah.
low, I mean, I think it's kind of obvious when I spiked it on fourth down. I think about that a lot. Like
Oh yeah.
it was chaos. A lot was going on. People on the sideline were yelling, "Spike it!" I think we all were so caught up in the drive that
Yeah.
we kind of got ahead of ourselves and we hadn't, gone over the exact situation. And I just wish I'd have thrown up a jump ball to someone uh, to just give us a fighting chance because we had a heck of a drive to get back down there. And that was, I mean, yeah, I threw some picks this year, but that's the play that just sticks in my head. Like, oh, I wish I had it back.
Yeah.
But it was kind of obvious, but
Yeah,
you
was
know.
there like confusion on the sideline, or because I saw that when I was watching that play, I could remember the wide receivers and everyone was jogging back. Was there like some
We didn't
confusion,
know
like if it was
we had multiple play callers on the sideline, and every like what happened was the play before I got sacked,
yeah,
and so the clock was still running, and I'm not sure if everyone was on the same page with what the play was going to be because had I not spiked the ball, we also didn't have a play called, so
yeah,
I didn't really know. And it just so happened so fast. We practice 2-minute drill and practice,
yeah,
and that's one thing. It's another when you're in the dome, everyone's screaming, our sideline, their sideline. Um, I also look up at the scoreboard, and I got adrenaline pumping, and they're showing the scores from like all the games in the ACC on the board. So I'm looking, and there's like 15 clocks up there, and in my head I'm
yeah,
just like, oh my god, like I'm kind of panicking, and so it was just a total like chaotic moment, and that obviously we came up short. It was a tough situation though.
there were a lot of close games that season, and you guys just fell short just a few times, like right there having a chance, So it
Right,
wasn't really a bad year when you really go down and look at the statistics and the games and the numbers,
right,
but at the end of the day, it was a loss. But when you really look at it, it really wasn't a big difference in
right.
statistics
It
and
was
all
a
that.
hard year for Syracuse because the way COVID worked, we weren't allowed to be on campus. We had a new defensive coordinator, we had a new offensive coordinator, so they're trying to, we're basically learning all new things in a short amount of
Yeah,
time. We weren't even allowed to be together as a team until camp, and then there was a lot of confusion as to, you know, were we doing things the right way? Was the ACC taking care of us? Was college football rushed? And it was just kind of an unfortunate set of
yeah,
variables, but I'm glad you can see the bright side of things.
yeah. So I assume with COVID, all of that team bonding stuff would be a difference. Did you find a difference between, say, 2019, 2018, and 2020?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it was like it was like a crime to hang out with people outside your workout pod over the summer. And I remember that it was tough because these are your guys, these are your best friends, and we had a team meeting. We all had to like sit 6 feet apart, and everyone sees everyone and just wants to give them a high five or like dap them up, and we weren't able to do that. So there was a huge difference, and it sort of alienated our team a little bit because I would have my receivers and I would throw with my guys and work on one thing, and then Tommy would have his guys and he would do another thing, and then when we got back together there were like small differences between things that I thought this route was 6 steps and Tommy said it was 5. So then we get back together and like his timing with the guys I worked with wasn't perfect, and my timing with the guys he worked with wasn't perfect. So it made things very hard in a school
Yeah.
like Syracuse, where we have to, we don't get the same recruits that Clemson does, obviously. So where we have to make up the slack is with our own work ethic, but we kind of had that taken away from us with COVID, and everyone dealt with it. I'm not trying to play the victim card here, but it definitely made things harder.
Yeah. You guys did play Clemson close though in 2020 in Death Valley. Played them close till the end.
Right.
Yeah. And then one last thing for you. If you were to give some inspiring words to a young athlete from someone who's dealt with so much adversity throughout their time at Syracuse, and if you were to say to someone some inspiring words to get them to be where you wanted to be and where you were, what would you say to them?
I'm trying to think of something that's not going to be cliche, because the obvious thing is, work hard and do the right things, make the right choices. I would say that, football's a game that gives and takes, and to not beat yourself up too hard about when things don't go your way, because there's a lot of luck involved. Especially a position like quarterback, where you're reliant on not only the teammates around you, but the coaches around you. To not let football, when it's not going well, ruin your life, and that there's a lot more things going on. And while it may seem like that, maybe the interception you threw in practice is weighing you down for 2 days until the next practice, try to not let that happen. Everyone makes mistakes, and football can seem so consuming and so overwhelming that sometimes you got to take a step back and just smile, laugh with your teammates. Everyone's feeling the pressure, and just try to stay positive, because the game, it's a mental game. It's going to try to beat you up.
Yeah. All right. Well, you heard him, Cuse Nation. Thank you guys all for watching today. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Rex, for joining me.
Yes, sir. Let me know when you want to do it again. This is fun.
Definitely. Much appreciated. Until the next time, Cuse Nation. See ya.